my hair look okay?
Yeah.
What about
Which way? Like,
They look good. Okay.
Do I have sweat stains?
They can't see it.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
The first time I met Dillon, he was riding a bike, and it was kind of storming outside, and I ran into him by the grill, and he was like, you know, he was a weather major at the time, so I ran into him. I was like, "What's going on, man?" And I thought his name was Wyatt. Don't know why I thought his name was Wyatt. So I talked to him. We was like, "Yeah, it's gonna rain. We probably gonna get hit by a tornado." You know, general conversation, and I actually started becoming friends with Dillon the first night of the Wesley when he came.
Okay, here we go.
do I
Ready?
look at you or do I look at that?
You look at the camera.
Oh, I don't think I can.
You're going first, so
It's like you're looking at Dillon into
Dillon.
his soul if you have one. All right,
I'm
here
so
we go.
nervous, I'm sweating.
me. When I first met Dillon,
I thought you were when we first met him.
No, Teresa changed it.
wait, what are the questions again?
I wanted to tell him when I first met him.
You are. You talk about your first time you met him. That was your first.
Well, the first time I met Dillon, that I can remember, was at the Wesley when we were breaking off into groups where trying to figure out what we were going to do with the Wesley, with soundboard and stuff like that.
The first time I met Dillon, I thought he was Clay Taylor. So I was like yelling across like the sidewalk, "Clay Taylor, Clay Taylor!" And Dillon just kept walking. So I got sad. I first met Dillon at the Wesley. It was the first time we actually really started talking.
The first time I met Dillon was last year at band camp. Yeah, we stood by each other through the whole show.
So, like, we were marching and stuff, and we talked, and yeah.
My first impression was Dillon, excuse me. I was like, man, this guy needed a haircut. You know, I can't say that because, you know, I don't know this guy. I don't know what he's gonna do, so.
My first impression of, oh crap, I can't do the same thing. I thought Dillon was really cool, and when I first saw him at Wesley, I was like, oh cool, I gave him my seat. So I was like, he loves Jesus. That's cool. My first impression of you was that you were really shy and you didn't talk much, but then we got close and we started talking all the time, and you just became one of my really great friends.
Does he have a soul?
I thought he was really quiet and really weird.
I thought Dillon was like a redhead, and he was really pale. I mean, like, pale. Like, Jesus came back pale.
Well, my first movie of Dillon is when he announced that he got saved and he spoke out in front of the Wesley that night. That was touching and that was memorable, and I'm so glad that I can share that with Dillon. And I'm also grateful to share D now because we're both partners as well, and we had 10 great boys, and you know it was a great time. It was a bonding time. So reset.
My favorite memory of us being friends is the night that you got saved. I remember coming out of the Wesley worship room and Michaela coming up to me and she's like, "Did you hear?" And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Dillon got saved." And I looked over at you and like we locked eyes and there was just like this feeling. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I ran to you and I gave you a hug and it was just one of the best feelings in the world. And after that, like we just became super duper close. My favorite memory with Dillon was when we were on our way back from D now and we went to the mall and he was a really good sport and went into Ulta and Victoria's Secret with Teresa and me, and this guy we passed, I said, "Sorry, Dillon," and he was like, "I get you. At least you don't have to buy tampons."
Okay.
You just totally changed your answer.
My favorite memory of you, Dillon, is the time that you became a cannibal and ate a gingerbread cookie.
My favorite memory was when we went to the haunted castle, and it was fun, and we screamed really loud.
Well, there was this one time we went to like a haunted house and we were like running and stuff, and this guy with a chainsaw came out and was like vroom vroom, and I didn't know what to do, and Dillon was just like, go, and then I knew what to do.
There's one thing I can change about Dillon. I would take Dillon to a black barbershop, get a haircut just like mine, and get wave patterns. You're gonna be black, Dillon. Black.
If there's one thing I could change about you, I would turn your hair into a lion's mane. And then it would just be all over the place, huge and thick. Kind of like Tarzan, you know?
If I could change one thing about Dillon, I would give him superpowers to where he could give me food, like, all the time. But, like, food that's good for you, like low calorie stuff.
If there's one thing I could change about you, Dillon, I would figure out if you had a soul, and if you didn't have a soul, I would give you a soul.
I would make him be able to sing like Ed Sheeran, so I'd have close to the real thing.
I would probably change like his socks, cause they probably stink like putrid odor.
One time, Dillon punched me in the face, and it was awesome.
I'm sorry so many people are jealous of Dillon, but I can't help it, he's popular.
This one time, I saw Dillon wearing army pants and flip-flops, so I went out and bought army pants and flip-flops.
Dillon, you can't just ask someone why they're white.
Dillon is so fetch.
One time, Dillon made out with a hot dog.
Hey Dillon, here's a present for you!
Come on.
1, 2, 3, sing.
Happy birthday to you.